You're listening to The White Rabbit, conversations on the art of presenting in a rather noisy world. Your hosts are Matt Krause and Alper Rozanes. Matt helps leaders of international companies speak, write, and present with confidence. Alper is an author, communications trainer, and a startup investor with a diverse portfolio of companies in Barcelona. If you like this podcast, please share with your friends and colleagues. Now, on to Matt and Alper for today's conversation.
Alper, you know what I'm in the mood for today?
Let me guess. I can't.
I am in the mood for some PowerPoint geeking. Are you in the mood for some PowerPoint geeking?
Am I ever not in the mood for some PowerPoint geeking? Of course.
Yeah, I figured as much. Okay, so let's do some PowerPoint geeking today, and specifically around one subject. I have something in mind, and that is the agenda slide.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of agenda slides, and they're all kind of boring.
Yes.
They're very linear. You know, it's always topic number 1, topic number 2, topic number 3, topic number 4. And so that makes for kind of a difficult presentation situation, because you walk in there and one of the first things that you tell your audience is, I'm going to talk about topic number 1, and then I'm going to talk about topic number 2, and then I'm going to talk about topic number 3, and then I'm going to talk about topic number 4. And I'm thinking, well, you know, what if what the audience really wants to hear about is topic number 3? And so by the time you get through topic number 1 and topic number 2, by the time you get to topic number 3, they're bored and they're resentful and they just want to go back to work. And so, you know, all of this goodwill that you had built up when you walked in the room, it's gone now. They hate you. They want you out of there. They want to go back to work. And so I'm thinking, well, you know, what if you could just walk in there and say, today I'm going to talk about 4 things. And I can start wherever you want. I can go in any order that you want. So you tell me, where would you like me to start? And then the audience or your potential customer, whoever, you know, they look at your list of 4 things and they say, well, you know, what we'd really like is we'd like you to start with topic 3. So is there a button in PowerPoint or how would you do that in PowerPoint where could you just like click one button and go straight to topic 3? How would you do that?
Yes, that's a good question. There are actually ways to do that. They have existed since probably the earliest versions of the software. Okay. But I can go briefly over that, but then I can talk about even a better feature which got added recently as in the last couple of years to the 365 version. So basically the way you used to do it before, which is still valid by the way, but a little more cumbersome, is through linking. For example, let's say you have an agenda slide, your list of items, number 1, number 2, 3, and 4. If they're individual text boxes, or if you felt creative and actually used icons or photos or images as items, then you can tell PowerPoint, hey, anytime I click on one of these, go to this slide. It's called linking or bridging. And what it does is, if you're showing the agenda slide and if they say, well, okay, let's not go with 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's start with the third one. You can just click on the agenda item number 3, and it will take you to the beginning of your agenda item number 3. But that's all it's going to do. And in the old days, what you would have to do, unless you want to get really lost when you end up on the beginning of the agenda item number 3, you would have to put like a back button to go back to the agenda, or you would have to put navigational buttons to each slide. You could tell the software, okay, if I hit this button on any slide, take me to the slide number. If I hit that, take me to that slide number. But you would have to do all these manually, and it used to really take some time. And if you confuse some of the links, some of the destinations, you could end up in a limbo of slides during the presentation. A much better approach to that will be using a combination of the sections feature of PowerPoint as well as the slide zoom feature. I'll talk about both of them. Now the sections has existed for a long time. It's nothing new. But when you combine the power of sections with the slide zoom, which added recently onto the software, you can create amazing situations. I'll give you an example. Again, you have your agenda slide. Let's say you have your presentation. Your presentation is 20 slides of 4 topics. So you have 5 slides for each topic, right?
Sure.
So your topic number 1 starts at slide number 1. Well, actually, +1 because you have the agenda in the beginning. It starts at number 2. Your second theme starts at number 7, number 12, number 17, and so forth. What you can do in the software is you can tell the software, look, from slides 2 to 7 is my first section, and this first section is called agenda item number 1. So what you will end up, and you will repeat these for the next batches of 5 slides as well. So by using sections in the software, you will end up with 4 sections of 5 slides each. So what you can then do is use this slide zoom feature on the software. It's actually one of the newer additions. And you're going to, for example, on your agenda slide, you're not going to have 4 boring text boxes anymore, right? Written where the topic, the titles are written. But you're going to tell the software to turn this into a summary zoom slide. And it's actually called section zoom. And what it does is when you click on it, remember you had already defined 4 sections of 5 slides each.
Yeah.
So now when the window opens up, it's going to show you all the sections that you created. So in this window, you're going to see 4 slides, but they are not individual slides. They are actually representing the entire sections. So you select each of them and you hold the shift key to select multiple items. And then you click on insert. What you will have on your hands is the agenda slide with 4 visual representations of each section. So you're going to have 4 rectangular images on your slide. Well, depending on your slide size, you will have 4 images representing each section. And the beauty of it is they are already clickable. So when you go to the presentation mode, I'm not talking about the editing mode, but once you start, when you move into the presentation mode, you will realize that all these images are now clickable. So you as a presenter can show this slide and tell your audience, my dear audience, I have 4 topics that I want to discuss with you today, and these are them. Which one would you like me to start with? You don't have to walk them through topic 1 first, and then second, and then third. You can increase the engagement. You can give them control over the flow of the presentation. If they say, well, we want to start with topic 3, very well. You just take your mouse, you take your mouse pointer, you click on the 3rd slide, on the agenda slide, and it beautifully zooms into the first slide of the 3rd topic. Now you're in the 3rd topic that you would normally be discussing. So what you do is you talk about the item. Remember, you had 5 slides in this section. You can click on next. The software will show them one by one in the order which you designed them. But the nice thing about this feature is when you're finished with topic 3, when you're at the last slide of the 3rd topic, when you click next, it's not going to take you directly into the first slide of the next topic, of the next section. When you click next at this point, it's going to take you back to the agenda slide where you had the 4 items waiting for you to click.
So let's see. So I finish section 3 and I click next, and then it takes me back to the agenda slide.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Continue.
Yes. And then you can say, okay, that was topic 3. We discussed about it. What would you like to have next? They can say, okay, now we want number 1, we want number 4, number 2, whatever. And then you click on that and you go to that section. Okay. So this is yours is a beautiful question in the beginning because it gives a whole interaction, a sense of engagement. The audience is now participating in your presentation. They can actually tell you what they want to hear first. Yeah. Maybe after you talk about the third and the first topic, they will say, well, that's great. This is enough. We don't have to go over the remaining topics, and the presentation will be over.
Yeah. Okay. So what if I'm midway through a section? Let's say that I'm halfway through section 3, or I'm halfway through topic 3. And my audience, they go, oh, well, actually, we're done with number 3. We want to go back to number 1. Could you talk about topic number 1 instead? So how do I go? I'm in the middle of topic 3, and somehow I want to end up at the beginning of topic 1. How do I do that?
That's also a good question. Let me think. As far as I know, there is no automatic way of going back to the agenda slide when you're in the middle of one of the sections, or if you're in the middle of the presentation.
Okay.
But there is a shortcut which has existed for many years, which is at any point during the presentation, if you are in the presentation mode, at any point, you can directly on the keyboard enter the slide number and then hit the enter key. So let's say your agenda, let's say you have a title slide on your presentation, the first slide, and then the agenda slide is your second slide. At any point during the presentation, whether you're within a section or towards the end, towards the beginning, doesn't matter. At any point, what you do is on your keyboard, you press 2 and then press enter, and it will take you directly back to your agenda slide. The only requirement at this point is that you remember that your agenda is on the second slide, but it's not very difficult to remember, especially if it is somewhere in the beginning of the presentation.
Okay.
Like it will be the first, the second, maybe the third.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good trade-off. I mean, I get the ability to jump around a lot in my presentation. And all I have to do in order to get that ability, all I have to do is remember one slide number 2, and then I get to jump around a lot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
To come back to the agenda slide.
Yeah. And so we're about out of time. But before I ask my final question, do you have any, am I cutting into your explanation here?
Well, you know me, I can talk for 2 more hours, but there are some other benefits about this slide zoom feature, which I would love to talk about, but let's leave it for another episode.
Okay.
Go ahead with your question.
The question that I have, the final question that I have is that if this is so easy, and if this ability has, in one way or another, has been around for so long, it's been around since probably, like you said, the first days of PowerPoint in kind of a rudimentary hot linking form, but at least it was around. If it's been around for so long, why do you think it is that more people aren't using it?
That's a good question. Well, the software has, I don't know, maybe 9 million features, and you need to dedicate the time and the desire actually to find out what they are.
Yeah.
And most of the time, what I came across before devoting myself into this was, I mistakenly click something and something happens, and I'm like, whoa, what just happened? So I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's the main of the PowerPoint. There are like 12 main items and maybe hundreds of sub items with 3 dots at the end of them, which means you can go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. So it's like a whole world down there.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. That was an excellent tip. So
thank you.
We'll pick this up next week, and thank you very much.
All right, I'll talk to you next week.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to The White Rabbit with Matt Krause and Alper Rozanes. You can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or through your favorite feed.